As the number of humans on the planet continues to grow, more and more pressure falls on farmers to provide this ever-growing population with food to eat. Literally an impossible feat without the aid of important fertilizers such as potash, nitrogen, and phosphate.
Society has become reliant on fertilizer. Without fertilizer, we're just not going to get the food that we need, the increased yields. And phosphate is one of the 3 macronutrients in fertilizer. And demand for phosphate grows every single year. There is no substitute to phosphate. Phosphate's mined, and without mined phosphate, 80% of the world's population will starve.
Like other minerals, phosphate is mined. Phosphate predominantly comes from 2 types of deposits, sedimentary and igneous, with the sedimentary deposits providing over 90% of the world's phosphate. Although it's easier to mine, they come with deleterious elements that can be radioactive and infiltrated with heavy metals. With society being reliant on phosphates, it's up to the producers to be responsible and for legislation to keep these harmful elements to a minimum.
Igneous deposits are rare, with about 40% of them located in Russia. They are very important because they provide a high purity phosphate concentrate with low level of deleterious elements like heavy metal and radioactive elements. They play a great role in the fertilizer industry because they provide raw material that has a much higher purity.
Aside from agriculture, phosphate's making its way into other uses. Today, the lithium iron phosphate battery, the LFP, is gaining a lot more acceptance. It's used in electric vehicles, and more is being used in energy storage.
With a dwindling supply of phosphate and an increasing demand for it each year, the globe, particularly North America, could be in for a cataclysmic shortage of food. Without the development of new phosphate mines, 80% of the world's population could starve.
Here in North America, we do produce phosphate, which we turn into our fertilizer. However, our mines are getting mined out, and every year we require more and more supply to be imported. As much as we think about North America as an agricultural powerhouse, which it is, that powerhouse is reliant on the ability to source the phosphate fertilizers that we need. The other thing that we've seen is supply shocks, be it COVID, war, geopolitical competition for natural resources. When it comes to phosphate, we need to understand the importance of it, where we get it from, and security of supply. Because at the end of the day, phosphate is food. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So when you're looking at the food chain, one could easily argue that the weakest link is phosphate.
Phosphate is a non-renewable asset, so that means that in order to maintain production, you either have to expand the current mines or you have to build new mines. Most of the expansion and projected new development are in the Middle East and North Africa. And because of that, it's not easily accessible to North America. Arianne has been moving this project forward for over a decade now. And North America is on the verge of having access to a very large, very high purity phosphate production right in its backyard.
Arianne Phosphate's project in Quebec, Canada, is an enormous step towards meeting the continent's increased demand of this vital mineral. As well, with 75% of their energy coming from renewable sources, Arianne will produce an incredibly high purity, low contaminant phosphate at minimal cost to our environment.
Mining projects are reliant on supporting infrastructure. Arianne's project is located beside pre-existing infrastructure: hydroelectric dam, road network, deep water port. The existing infrastructure will allow the mine not to cause too much disturbance in the environment, and the hydroelectric power will provide for a renewable source of energy. We have strong support from the government of Quebec as it is a shareholder, and also from the local communities. The project is fully permitted and shovel-ready, which is a difficult process in today's Western world.
Mining is a lengthy process. Today, To put a mine into production takes somewhere between 10 and 20 years. Arianne has been at this for 12 years and sits atop the world's largest greenfield deposit in a good jurisdiction that's going to be able to supply North American requirements for phosphate for decades to come.
Arianne Phosphate's deposit is an important piece in North America, regaining phosphate self-sufficiency and ultimately feeding other nations. As well, the company will be able to produce the phosphate we need in an environmentally friendly way. Arianne Phosphate, growing tomorrow's food.